Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lights Out League Racing Season 32, Race 4, and we're here with the Div 1 boys. Apology for the slight delay. There was some sort of linkage error. YouTube pissing about again, and not in a good way. Had a week off for the absolute dismal drama of the England game last week. We should have probably left it alone and carried on racing, but those being England fans wouldn't have missed it for the world. And now it's the end of the World Cup and back to the racing. And we've got some action for you today. We're here at Silverstone, always a staple on the LOLR calendar. And this week is a special round, a reverse championship race. Fleecy says he needs a shit again. I have already dumped my load. I'm more prepared than you. You need to learn. Good evening, Theo. How are you, my friend? Those that are watching and haven't done so, please like and subscribe. We're on 152. It keeps teetering up every single week. It's really nice to see. Great support from everybody. I think we're expecting 19, 20 drivers on the grid this week. It is August and one or two people are away on holidays. I know one or two have any issues. Don't you unsub, I'll smack you silly. Fleazy, you shitbag. Theo's going to try and survive 6 laps today. I hope you finish, my friend. You're starting in a decent position, front row, I do believe. You've got some decent pace about you. You can hold off the fight behind you. Just get that confidence back in. Theo, of course, on the podium many times in Div 1. And it'd be good to see him back on there once again as we start getting underway. So as there is a reverse championship, 2 plus 2 is 7, aka George will be leading us around. Everyone's starting on the medium, so interesting call from all drivers going for the same strategy. Very interesting. Silverstone, everybody knows it's a driver's track. Everybody loves it. A track full of speed and rhythm. G-force makes your cheeks thwack, and that is a word, and I'm sticking with it. Call this a track so quick it's compared to flying a fighter jet. I believe it's a Hamilton quote potentially, but approaching Brooklands now, one of the hardest corners on the circuit. Heavy braking zone which rewards good attacking intent and punishes any small errors. This track puts a heavy stress on the front left tyre, so it's integral that everyone gets their setup absolutely spot on. Silverstone's a 5.8 kilometre clockwise circuit, 18 corners, 10 to the right, 8 to the left, with the 3 straight line mode zones. Mike cheering on Benja. David says it's going to be a fun one. He's hoping he's going to survive longer than 3 laps. I hope people are going to survive longer. There's 88% chance of a safety car and 13% for a VSC. Now we go through our grid. George then at the front, joined by Theo on the front row. Let's go, lads. So you're not sure, Terry's? Brilliant track, says Damon. Linazuka and Wesker on row 2 with Lennon and George Plaster on row 3. And I think George is in a very decent position here, starting from P6. Senna and Keys are just behind them, with Katamise and Adamaka round off the top 10. That is a spicy row. Uriba, 6 Pompano, 11th with Tommy Ash behind him, with Jackson D on row 7. Then our championship leader, Portuguese, in P15. And then we've got 5 reserves: Benja, Fleazy, Shawnee and Dan Morris, all reserving from Div 2, with Raymond in the Williams on his LOLR debut. And what a debut it's going to be on a reverse championship, having to do a last to first. We'll see how this works out, and I hope everything's crossed for him as everyone's in their grid box. George's going to have to be on the defence. 239 metres run down from pole to turn 1, braking, although there's no braking at turn 1. It's 3, 4, 5, the flags are waving and the lights are, and away we go. That was quick, and it's a good start from George. will lead the way round the first corner. Both Alpines tentative round Abbey as we approach turn 3. Linazukan putting his arms out. Keyser's dropped down 4 places as Amadi's already got past Jax Daniels. Katames has already steamed ahead up to P3. He's been using some overtake mode, surely. Up 6 places. What a start for the Haas. Keyser's dropping down like a sack of spuds. Aston Martin on his home, the car's home circuit, is not liking this. As Portuguese passing the Haas of Jax Daniels then, oh no, side by side as we're approaching Cops. Looks like Portuguese is just slightly behind Jax Daniels. Flees and Keyser having a good old tussle as we jump back and see Div 2 rivals Wesker and Katames. Wesker getting past the Haas up to P3 as we go down to Amadi, carving his way through the field past Adamaku now and up to P11. Good start from Tommy up to P10. Plaster's dropped down a couple of places. I must have put a curse on him. Landing up to P5. So 1 or 2 drivers getting a better start than one another. But as we go, I see a good battle at the top here. Theo trying to get past the Red Bull of George and his teammate on the inside. Team orders. That was very good driving from both the Alpines. We got a yellow flag and it looks like it's Senna. Oh, we got a car going off. I think it was Linazukan and Raymond, I think, just getting caught up. Katames has dropped down to P17 as well. Was that a bit of a Katames and Senna moment, maybe? We're going to see some early pit stops then. What's happened to Six Pompano? Oh no, the Welshman. I haven't got my... Silly me. Six Pompano coming off. Round loop. George has now got himself up to P4, getting past the Cadillac. Lennon not fighting too hard. Knows it's probably not his battle for today. As he tries to fend off the Mercedes of Tommy. Feisty first couple of laps, so you're going to get that for a reverse championship. Portuguese now up to P9. Hoping you don't finish last in the race, David. Oh, maybe. Hopefully not. As Adam side by side with the Aston of Amadi. This was a brilliant overtake from the Ferrari. Amadi's no slouch. Adam has the inside of Club. It looks like a great defence from Amadi. He wasn't giving that up too easily as Wesker's taken the lead of the race. George is tiptoed round the final couple of corners as George Plaster's gone through. George let his other teammate through. George, it's a Spider-Man meme of George's. Theo getting past George, then George holding on the inside. Slowest corner of the circuit, leaving each other plenty of room. Brilliant driving. And it should be... Oh, the drag racing still down to Brooklands. Theo's got himself just ahead. And that's a brilliant drive there from the Alpine. Doing a lot of confidence and well of good there. As we see Keyser and Dan Morris. Now, with this circuit, it's going to be very tricky with battery management. With the straights that you've got. As we're going across the national straight here. The old pit lane. Look at that. Six Pompano's not messing about. Carves his way through up to P13. Jax Daniels passing Portuguese as Lennon gets past George. What's happening to Portuguese here? I expect him charge through the field like a horny rhino. Lennon losing out a couple of spots with straight line mode as Adamaku and Jax having a good tussle round Stowe Corner. Oh, look how congested this field is as we're ending lap 3. And there's pretty much still a train all the way down to P12. As George Plaster, currently P2, getting the fastest lap. Oh, I'll put my money on him. I'll put my money on him. Amadi. Lennon having the inside of Loop. fling your car out of Aintree with straight line mode. Looks like Theo's just slightly adrift then of the front two, trying to stay with his teammate. Wesker all over the back of George as he's now taking the lead of the race. And it's so congested, and the drivers showing their skill and quality here. Portuguese now getting past Jack Daniels, just ahead of Cops. One or two drivers going wide, including Lennon and Portuguese. And Jack's getting past both. We go further down and see Benja and Dan Morris, Div 2 battle on show, getting a little warm up here ahead of their race at 9 PM UK. Those cars swanning over there, and Shawnee P up to P10. The Div 2 McLaren reserve into the top 10 in Div 1. Doing an incredible job. And two lockups into Vale Corner. Maki looking to capitalise here and getting past George on the inside. That'll be brilliant overtake from the Ferrari. George left him plenty of room. Will try and fight back, but he has the inside of turn 3. Adam tries to switch back. But, didn't expect the defence there from George. Brilliant driving from the Red Bull. Keeps his P6 for now. Jostle down the bottom here with 16th and 17th. Dan Morris now getting the better of Benja. Straight line mode open, and will charge to try and get past Giza. Dan Morris taking a look on the inside of the Aston. Giza leaving plenty of room. Giza holding on, has the inside of Luffield. And gets a good launch out of the corner. Dan Morris just waiting for his next opportunity. Jack's now closing back in on Portuguese. And just ahead of Mackers and Beckett. Again, that's brave. You've got to trust the driver next to you. And it's a good squabble here for P8 and P9. Theo struggling at the moment. It's Tommy up to P4 now and all over the back of the Alpine. That's the inside of Stowe. It's, door closed by Theo. It's slightly wide. You can see how wide he's got the track limit penalties. That may cost him a potential podium. I'll be hoping that one or two around him has the same thing. Oh, rides the curb a bit too much and goes wide. And through goes the Mercedes. Theo just going a little wide on the corner as well. Managed to keep control of his car, lose the position, but has kept going. Brilliant control there from Theo as Adam goes through up to P5 as well. Portuguese passing George. George just dropping down now as Amadi now ahead of Tommy at turn 3. Amadi, the flying Scotsman. Oh, no, yellow flag. Who's that? It looks like a Ferrari. Senna struggling. No, it's Lin Azukan coming around the final corner. Both, of course, had the earlier incidents. And Jack Daniels as well. Now to P17. His tyres are too hot. Thankfully, he's managed to keep it going. He's having a fantastic tussle with Portuguese. And did he have a bit of an issue? As what's happened to Theo as well? He's just got swamped coming around Cops. I think he's come on, ahead of Cops. I think he's come off a bit offline, going around Brooklands and Luffield. And everyone's just carving their way through past him now. Just needs to sort his head out. Shawnee P out to P7. Shawnee P putting his hat in the ring for a potential Div 1 promotion here. And Papano and past Theo. Theo down to P11. Just needs to... Oh, and Shawnee P. Commentator's curse. Reset to track. You're not allowed to do that, Shawnee P. You're going to get a bitch slapping for that. Giza and Benja at it once again with Dan Morris just behind. This is going to bode well for the Div 2 race. So we've got another yellow flag. Theo has come a crop on the final couple of corners. And has now found himself in P16. He's lasted more than 6 laps though, so he's surpassed his own expectations. George has extended his lead at the top ahead of Wesker. Both having a brilliant drive. Got a good 3 seconds ahead of Amadi. As we go back and see our championship leader passing Adamako now up to P5. I hope that's not Theo once again. It is. Just lost traction coming round Aintree. Just keep it slow through the next couple of corners, Theo. Your tyres are going to be hot. Senna the only one that has pit, and we'll be hoping for a bit of an advantage once everyone else does their pit stops. I think it's potentially a one-stop strategy. Oh, it's 4 straight line modes. I forgot about that one at the on the start-finish straight. The Hamilton straight, the only corner or straight named after a current driver on the roster. Benja casting Giza. To P13 then for the McLaren reserve. Giza defending from Dan Morris, and it's Theo again. He's not lost control and he's in the wall through Magnus and Beckett's. He needs to move his car, and he does so. Gets it going again. Fortunate, good start from the Alpine. He's just having a tricky couple of laps. Get his car going once again. So jump back and see TT Fleasy ahead of his Div 2 driver, ahead of his Div 1 counterpart. That'll be an absolute slap to the face for Lennon. Mr. South himself. We jump and see Portuguese. Taking a quick look at Tommy, but has to stay behind him. There's great battle here for P3 behind Amadi. And you probably expect Amadi here to be a bit of a sitting duck coming out of the hangar. Tommy goes through, does he? No, Amadi's just put the burners on. Portuguese gets past the Mercedes, but Amadi closes the door on his championship rival here. And Portuguese now up to P4 from P15. Further down, Jax Daniels and Ramon. Jack's pitting then. First driver to making the first official pit stop. Ramon, decent start too. LOLR, he's got a damaged end plate, and I think he's just holding on to the pit stops. Running respectful P16, and slightly closing on this battle here for P13. So we jump back up to the podium positions, and Portuguese ahead now of the Aston Martin. Tommy on the inside of Amadi. Left each other just enough room. Amadi staying ahead of Tommy for now. Tommy's struggling to get past the Scotsman. They don't want to get caught fighting and let Portuguese go though. 5-second gap for the Red Bull of George. Pretty much out of place for his skill level on the starting grid. He's put him in a very decent position. You can see how close the chasing pack are behind him. One slight mistake, he'll be under threat as Pampano now up to P7. One of his better races this season. George just slots behind him. Isn't close enough to make a move as yet as he tries to fight back. Giza losing out to Dan Morris. Fantastic battle, and I think he'll be absolutely loving this. His old Div 2 rivals. Cracking race so far, and we're almost halfway through. I can't believe it. I can't believe Fleasy here has dropped Lennon. Lennon not happy with his mediums. Oh, yellow flag. Who's this one? It's not Theo again, is it? Unless he's letting everyone out of the way. Yeah, Theo's gone onto the grass once again. The Swede struggling. There's both Swede drivers, P19 and P20 at the moment, as we see Wesker shrugging off Portuguese. Closing the door on the Audi, and he's you can see Tommy and Amadi bunched up behind. George getting past Fleasy, but we'll jump back on here. This is an absolutely thrilling stuff. As Portuguese has got back past Amity and Tommy, and Adam Mako has joined the party as well. It's a battle here for P2 down to P6. Will anyone decide to jump in the pits and try and do a undercut? No, they're all still going. So Jack's doing the early pit stop, going onto the hard tyres. Will they be able to last to the end? I'd like to think so. Wesker, this current cork in a bottle as Dan Morris pushing Benja aside. The Italian hand gesture for Theo's retired in the pits. Just not having a great race today once again. Just needs to get a good race under his belt. Remain now in the pits and potentially getting himself a new front wing. Portuguese now ahead up to P2, ahead of Wesker. Benja getting double done. Just do a bit of practice, my friend, and you'll be all right. Dan Morris, bit of a slide coming out of turn 3. Managed to keep himself just ahead. There's Ramon coming out the pits now and does have a fresh... No, he doesn't. He hasn't had a fresh wing. RD getting past Wesker. Wesker's put up a great fight. I think he'll stick with the two ahead. He's got Tommy and Adam just behind with Pompano closing in. And Dan Morris has lost traction coming out of Woodcote. And I don't think he'll be too... I'll be kicking himself for that, I think, as Tommy passed Wesker as well. So Wesker now deciding to pit, followed by Adam. It makes sense. Just losing time as Six Pompano and George all in as well. Fleasy in too. Must be the time to make the pit stop. Lennon's carried on, doesn't want to get double stacked. The Academy's just behind him. Quick slurp on my neck lube. Big cluster of cars in the pits. Benjamin Keys are in as well. Will anyone do an undercut in the pit lane? You see how... Look how congested this area is. I love it. Jack Daniels with the early pit stop has come out ahead of that Benja Keys, the Dan Morris battle. Ramon pitting earlier as well has come out just ahead of Dan Morris after his incident. Potentially wing change as well for the Visa Carb. Jack's getting past Senna. I think they'll be lording that all over him in the voice chat. As we see Amity and Tommy exchanging positions once again. Wesker and Adam potentially looking at doing an undercut. Can they work together to try and get an advantage over Portuguese D and Tommy, who are all in the pits once again? Katamis has got a puncture. Oh, that's not very good. He's going to have to limp back to the pits. How's he got a puncture? Italian hand gesture for Shawnee P as well. Spin in the pit lane. You cretin. Lennon's in now once again. Will Wesker and Adam be able to do an undercut? Katami's limping. He must have been pushing proper hard. As they have come out ahead of Wesker, Adam. Six Pompano closing in on that P5 battle. And Jax has found himself now into the top 10, pulling Senna along, who will need to pit once again. Big loss for Katamis. Lennon's come out behind Senna, who's still yet to pit, so should be a straightforward pit stop. And then he'll be hunting down his admin rival, Jax. You see Jax has got better grip than Senna. George now pitting. He's got 30 seconds advantage and should come out well ahead of the likes of Portuguese. Adam, oh, I thought he was going to make a move. He was closing in to a couple of tenths. So Wesker putting up a great defence. Portuguese just coming around the final corner now. As George exits the pit box. It's going to be close. And there's only a one lap offset. As Adam does now get ahead of Wesker. Wesker not giving up, no, but Adam plants his car perfectly at turn 3. Senna now making his final pit stop. Not the best of weeks for the Ferrari. As he gets himself settled into the league. Amadi just drops slightly as he just reserving a bit of battery. And that's the thing with these cars, they'll be yo-yoing, some using battery in different parts of the circuit than others. You can see Amadi getting within that 1 second, using his overtake mode, gives him that little extra horsepower for the whole lap. And Portuguese now under 4 seconds and hunting down the Red Bull. Just see him slightly in the distance as he goes round Vale. As Wesker getting past Adam once again. Six Pompano, the Welshman, has joined the party. Looking for one of his potential best finish of the season so far. Current teammates working well as Benja looks on the inside. Sure, they're having a good battle here actually. Six Pompano has managed to weave his way past the Ferrari and split in the two drivers that are mates and probably in the voice chat. Adam will probably ask Wesker just to try and hold up Six Pompano a little bit to try and help him get past him once again. Raymond back of this train now for P12. Be interesting to see how he gets on, trying to force an overtake, or if he's just going to bide his time. At the moment, McLaren's just holding off Keys and Raymond, but we know, as I just said, as he just got the inside, he has brilliant overtake on the inside of Copse corner. Not only a brilliant overtake, but a brilliant wheel-to-wheel racing with Keyser as well. As Fleasy passing George. George trying to defend the inside, which he does through Velen Club. Fleasy on the outside, left plenty of room. And up to P8, brilliant drive from both. As Amadi has got past, is caught up to Portuguese actually. They've dropped further back. George has put the hammer down. And Amadi now up to P2. He needs to finish ahead of Portuguese as Yo-Yo's back up to P2. Tommy just dropped back slightly. And potentially not falling into the clutches of this battle here. Wesker goes slightly deep at Brooklands. There's George and Fleasy at it once again. And George with the advantage at the moment after Brooklands. Adamaco wheel to wheel on the inside of Copse corner. This is going to hold your breath time. Squeaky bum. As Adam goes slightly deep, Wesker tries to overtake at Maggot's corner. And has to slot behind. Adam Six Pompano, 3.5 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that on Tommy. It looks like he's dropping as Adam. Now on the inside of Stowe. Oh, slight tap from the Welshman. Managed to keep on going. Will Six Pompano give the position? It looked a bit of wheel to wheel to me. Adam's managed to keep his car going as Fleasy and George at it once again. Brilliant overtake from the Cadillac on the outside. And here comes Jax Daniels on the inside of Abbey. Brilliant overtake from the Haas. Will he try and do a double in a couple of corners? It's going to be Brave trusting Fleasy ahead of him, as George on the inside caught Jax napping, but gets caught behind the Cadillac and boxed in. Jax will try and use straight line mode and some overtake mode to try and make the overtake once again. He's just left himself a bit of a gap as... Oh, slight tap. Again, I think that's very similar to the Adam and Pompano. If they're both not taking a similar angle around the corner, there's going to be slight contact. So, slight racing incident there as Jax goes on through. Ahead of Cops up to P8. Fleasy's still within distance behind George. Pompano is dropping back, so you're going to be having a great battle for P5. Lap 17 of 26. Armady still stuck behind the Audi of Portuguese, which he has done so far. George has made a bigger gap. I think it's because he's battling Armady and trying to put defence to the Aston Martin. And that's where Portuguese's sights are at the moment, but it's a great pace shown from the Red Bull. I think he's got the fastest lap at the moment. I think with no pressure, he's just able to manage his battery, manage his tyres, and just take this home. He's still got another 9 laps, including this one, to go. Well, he's put himself in a very good position, as you can just see down the Wellington. Portuguese and Amadi. But there's battles up and down the field. George just slightly adrift of Jax. He's got Fleasy closing in. He's going to have a look on the inside of Brooklands. I've not got enough pace down the straight to make the move yet. So George with a brilliant defence at the moment. Italian hand gesture for Dan Morris. Well, at least get it out of the way in the Div 1 race as he retires. Doesn't get points for the Visa Carb. Reserves do get half points for the team they're reserving for. Fleasy may try to make a move ahead of Magnussen Beckett. You see him just closing in, but George just puts his car in the middle of the road. He's going to have to wait. Coming out of Chapel and down the hanger straight here, Fleasy. What's going on there? But George saves so much of his battery. You just saw him fly away and caught Fleasy napping. Zukan just holding up the rear now after the 2 retirees of Theo and Dan. Some brilliant action on track as we see Wesker looking to snap back at the Ferrari. These three having a great tussle on track. A little extra speed there as the Audi gets out of the way. Or is that Katami's? No, it is the Audi of Linda Zuken. Lazy back all over the head of George. Just keeping it going. So we'll just calm down. It's only taken 18 laps to calm down, but it's calmed down. Dan says that was fun, but knows that he's just getting his eye in, ready for the Div 2 race, as I mentioned, and follows this at 9 PM UK. Those that don't know, we do have the 2 divisions running in Lights Out League Racing, and within each division we have 2 tiers. So for this Div 1 there is a Platinum tier, which is your top 11 drivers, and then the second 11 are the elite drivers, 1 from each tier, represent a constructors team. And then we have an overall constructors championship consisting of the Div 1 and Div 2 drivers. How quickly look how it stands for that, actually. I haven't had a look at the league standings while it's all settled. Quick look at Fleasy and George once again. Fleasy still looking at the back end of the Red Bull. They can't wait to get past that following the previous race in Miami. Portuguese is leading the way in the championship, but only by a point. He's got a bigger lead in the Platinum Tier Championship, with Jax Daniels in the fight as well. Amadi in the middle. Lennon is leading the way by 1 point with Katamis, and Giza, Senna and Wesker just behind. So 5-car battle at the really tight battle for the Elite Championship, and all points will be valuable at the moment. George is leading the way by over 6 seconds. Portuguese just can't shake off Amadi. As I said, Amadi needs to finish ahead of his championship rival. George is putting himself right in the mix, especially if he can continue his form as the season progresses. It's a 12 race calendar, and we're only on race 4, so a long way to go. Aston Martin leading the way, Amadi and Giza. Giza, of course, the Constructors' Championship merchant. He's got himself a couple of titles under his belt. He's just really struggling to get past George. George manages his battery absolutely perfectly at the moment. Can Fleasy just catch him off guard? 6 laps including this. This is his time as George defends the inside line. Still no progression at all from the Cadillac. Got a fantastic battle here for P12 still, with both McLaren's Raymond and Giza. Raymond has got past both Bender and Giza here, and now eyeing up Shawnee. Shawnee got himself well up into the mid top 10, and after his little incident has found himself down into the mid pack. Raymond just looking to advance, only a couple of tenths behind as George picks up another track limits. Will Raymond make a move as yet? He's just going to slot behind through Magus and Beckett. Needs to get a good exit coming out of Chapel. He'll have that straight line and overtake mode. Is he close enough to make a move? It's going to be a late one if he does. I don't think he's going to, though. Takes a quick look on the inside and has to slot behind once again. Fleasy, Ulceezy in Div 2. And he'll be absolutely livid of just not making any roads on George at all. At the moment, his strategy is useful as a fishnet condom. Just not working for him at the moment, but I'm sure he's learned a lot of data for the Div 2 race. Oh, just loses his front end with a little bit of oversteer. Has just only cost him a tenth or so. As we jump back on and have a look at Adamasco, who's keeping Six Pompano honest. As we go back and see Raymond actually now making a move on Shawnee at Brooklyn. Shawnee just tapping his pod. It's not a pea pod. You can't eat him, Shawnee. Shawnee looking to fight back straight away ahead of Cops, looking on the outside. Raymond will have to slot behind. Brilliant fight back there from the McLaren. May put Raymond under threat from the other McLaren behind. Just goes slightly offline. Benger just waiting and watching, biding his time. Wesker's got back in the battle. He looked like he dropped back a little bit, but he's got some fire in his belly. 4 laps to go, including this one. And that battle ahead. It looks like Amadi has run out of steam now. He's just dropping back and just following in the dirty air of the Audi. I think his tyres are just slightly wearing now. You can see he's just losing tenths at every corner. Either that, he's just preserving his battery, but I think he's dropped a bit too far back to preserve it. Katami's gone on the soft tyres, looking to get himself a fastest lap point. Benji now taking a look at the Williams. Ramon planted his car right in the middle of the road, going through Aintree. Has got himself a good exit. And Benja not able to close the gap. Oh, he looked like he just missed his braking point in the Williams. But managed to stop his car just in time. He's the Williams sandwich in between McLaren bread. Num 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 nums. Easy, really close. Will this be his opportunity? But I think, look at the speed that George has coming out of Chapel. You can see where he's managing his battery. There's nothing Fleasy can do about that. And it's a brilliant drive from George. Started in P1, has kept himself in the top 10. As it stands, Wesker will get himself the P1 in Elite. George will get P2 and Lennon P3. So George, at his first full-time race of the season, will get himself some big points to start his charge for the title as well. He's about 40 points behind, but I can close the gap if he continues this form. And puts the defence up once again. Can Tommy put a late charge on Amadi? Oh, fuck, I've got blister on my foot. Where's you come from, you twat? That hurt. I was just scratching it. I didn't realise it was blister. It just popped on me. Oh. Benja. Now making a move on Ramon. Ramon trying to defend the inside of left field. Gets a slight better exit, as Catamese does get that fastest lap with the 1:29.1. What? Has Benji just run out of fuel? He's got no battery at all. He tried to use it all up in Brooklands, and he's had his pants pulled down. And Ramon stays ahead and hunting down the other McLaren. Slightly deep coming at Chapel. That'll compromise him. He won't be able to catch Sean. And Benja should get a better exit, but I don't think he's close enough to capitalise. If only he had made that error earlier on. Geezer Geezer. Just 1.3 and just sniffing just behind. As we see Fleasy once again, can he make a move? This is the corners where he needs to try and jump the Red Bull. I think the Red Bull's got some mad straight line speed here. Defends down the Wellington Fleasy. Oh, I thought he was going to make a late lunge. But very good driving from the Cadillac. We don't condone... Oh, that was close. We don't condone dive bombs. And we'll be looking to try and make a move. Following through cops is so difficult through the dirty air. Is he going to try and get ahead? Nah, it's just not. He just can't do it. He's broken. I bet he can't wait to jump in to the Div 2 race, though. This is a fantastic drive from the reserve. We're just going to have to think of a different strategy. He is close now, though. Is this his moment on the final lap? We're not on the final lap. We're on the penultimate lap. As we got a yellow flag. No, he didn't make a move. The 26 out of 26 confused me. Oh, has he done it? George defending, though. But the Cadillac has the inside line, but it should be a better exit for the Red Bull. Good attempt there from Fleasy, but well defended again from George. As there's a big squabble just behind. I think something's happened to Keezer as Senna's now passed him. George back ahead of Fleasy. It's an Amazon series now for Fleasy, all or nothing. Let's get a good exit coming out of Aintree, but George just has him. He has him on toast. As we look at the other George, he's been, I wouldn't say been reasonably quiet. He's just been out on his front, all on his own, and put up a fantastic show. The Red Bull started P6. Like I said, he's slightly out of sync as Ramon gets past Benja. Started out of sync in the reverse championship, but comes and crosses the line and gets his first win in Lights Out League Racing with a brilliant win here in Silverstone. Portuguese will come round the final couple of corners. Started P15 and will finish second on the podium with Amadi just couldn't keep up the battles, finished P3. Tommy will come home on a lonely P4. 6 Pompano just ahead of Adamaco and Wesker, 5th, 6th and 7th. As Fleasy and George wheel to wheel. Fleasy picks up a track limits. Oh, that could have been tasty. Yeah, Jack Daniels now crossing the line, will finish P8. I think he'll be reasonably happy with that after his incident. George finishing ahead of Fleasy after his track limits penalty. Pushed each other right to the line and brilliant drive. Stop Shawnee P. He's got Lennon just behind him. Shawnee P having to not serving his penalty, so Lennon will come in P11. Benja 12th. Ramon on debut. P13. Keys 14th. Shawnee P 15th. What happened to Senna? What happened to Senna? What's he done? He's crashed out on the... He's crashed out on Vale. Lennon says he ran out of fuel with the lap and a half to go and still finished P11. That's good going, my friend, as Katamise has finished. What happened to Senna? What happened to Senna? What the fuck? Oh, what a race that was, though. I don't know. I'll have to ask him. Oh, there's your race winner, George Plaster. First win for Lights Out League Racing, and a big congratulations to him. Katami's getting the fastest lap with 6 Pompano getting driver of the day. Most overtakes, but there's no points for the most gains because it is a reverse championship. Portuguese comes home P2 and Amadi P3. Both carving their way through the field with Tommy as well, finishing P4. 6 Pompano, P5 with Adamaco, P6 Wesker, P7 and taking P1 in L8. Jack Daniels P8, P9 will go to George. Big congratulations to him from the start of the grid, first podium in LOLR. Fleasy coming home P10 and fantastic driving. We're looking forward to seeing him in Div 2 with Lennon coming P11 and getting the final podium for Elite. Benja P12, Raymond on debut, great drive from P19 up to P13 for him. Keys a 14th, Shawnee P15th. What happened to Senna? 16th, 17th for Katamise with a 1:29.1 and her fastest lap. 18th for Linda Zook and Dan Morrison Theo, both drivers retiring from the race. Wee wah wah wee wah. Well, that was a brilliant race. I absolutely loved that, and that's whet my appetite for the Div 2 race following this at 9 p.m. UK. If you don't want to watch any Div 2, and why would you not want to watch Div 2? But if you're that a sucker that doesn't want to watch Div 2, join us back again for Div 1 next week at 7:30 UK. Next Wednesday, we race Wednesdays, and we will be in Suzuka. Tricky circuit, and it sorts out the men from the boys. Cannot wait for that. Cannot wait to see you again. My name's Alex. Thank you for joining us. Peace out.